They hadn't spoken in months. Not in public. Not in private. Not even a text message. For the world, it seemed like they had simply moved on. But silence, sometimes, is louder than anything else. And for Demet Özdemir, that silence was unbearable that night. She had tried everything, new roles, new places, even new people. But nothing erased him. Nothing replaced the way he looked at her. When the cameras weren't rolling. That night, she couldn't sleep. Memories were louder than dreams. And one name kept echoing in her head. Can. She reached for her phone. Not to call him. Not to message him. She opened the voice recorder. And just talked. It wasn't planned. It wasn't polished. But it was real. Her voice trembled. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Sorry for not saying what I should have said when I had the chance. Sorry for pretending that I was okay when I wasn't. She paused. Took a deep breath. I saw your photo the other day, she whispered. You were smiling. But I know your eyes. And that wasn't your real smile. Her voice cracked. I still remember the way you held my hand backstage. I still remember the morning we shot that scene, the one where we kissed like it was the first time. Except it wasn't acting. At least not for me. There was a silence in the recording. As if her heart had stopped beating for a moment. I deleted your number. But I still remember it. Isn't that crazy? And then she said it. The one sentence she had buried for too long. I think I still love you. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was whispered. Like a secret carried by the wind. And then she hit delete. Just like that. Gone. But what she didn't know was that Yaman was awake too. He was in Rome that night. Filming something new. But he couldn't sleep either. He had gone for a walk. Alone. Hoodie up. Headphones in. But no music playing. Only thoughts. Only her. He checked his phone. Nothing. He opened her name in WhatsApp. Typed hi. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. He smiled bitterly. She probably forgot me, he whispered to himself. But she hadn't. She had just deleted the voice note. The one that could have changed everything. Sometimes, the saddest stories are not about what happened, but what almost did. The message not sent. The call not made. The truth not told. And in the case of Can and Demet, what hurt the most was how close they came to finding their way back. One voice note. One moment. A single tap away from healing. But the past, once buried, doesn't knock twice. People always asked them, was it real? They'd smile. Give a polite answer. Talk about friendship. Respect. Chemistry. But behind closed doors, they both knew. The story they lived wasn't written by any screenwriter. Their connection didn't start on set. It started in between takes. In the glances they stole. In the silence they shared. In the things they never said. When Erkenci Kuş ended, the world thought they had just played a beautiful role. But for them, the lines had blurred long before the final scene. It was in the way Demet's voice softened when she said Can on set. It was in the way Can forgot his lines when she laughed unexpectedly. It was real. It was terrifying. And it ended without a real goodbye. Years passed. The media moved on. Fans kept hoping, speculating, commenting on every like, every unfollow, every interview. But deep down, both of them knew the story never truly ended. It was just paused. And that night, the night of the deleted voice note, It almost began again. Ken would later say in an interview. Sometimes, you feel something in your chest, like a pull. As if someone's thinking about you at the exact same moment. But we ignore it. We pretend it's nothing. Demet would smile in her own interview months later and say, "There are things I wish I had said. But I guess life has its own plans." Both interviews were separate. Different countries. Different times. But between the lines, the same story was whispering. What if she had sent it? What if he had messaged that night? What if one of them had taken the first step? Would they be sitting together now? Would they be laughing at how scared they were? Would the past finally make sense? Or maybe it was never meant to be. Maybe some love stories aren't meant to last, only to be remembered. But there's one thing they both knew. It was never fake. And that night, when she whispered, "I think I still love you," and deleted the note, she wasn't acting. She was finally telling the truth. Just to herself. And maybe that's enough. Maybe some stories don't need a perfect ending. Maybe some loves don't need to be rescued. Maybe just knowing it was real, that it existed, is the greatest gift. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, in a quiet room, two hearts remember what it felt like to be one. Even if the message was never sent. Even if it was deleted. Because love, real love, never really disappears. It just waits. In silence. In the space between two heartbeats. In the messages that were never sent. In the glances that lasted a little too long. In the photos never deleted. And in the memories that time couldn't erase. Maybe it hides behind pride. Maybe it gets buried beneath time and distance. But it's there. Waiting for a moment. A sign. A voice. And sometimes, all it takes is one sentence. One truth. One voice note. But when that moment is lost, when it's deleted before it ever reaches the other side, we're left with the quiet ache of what could have been. And that's the story we tell here. If this touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because we don't just talk about the headlines. We speak the truths that were never printed. The stories whispered in the dark. The moments that shaped lives, even if no one ever knew. Behind every celebrity smile, there's a tear that never fell. A goodbye that was never said. A memory that still hurts. And sometimes, when the cameras stop rolling, and the spotlight fades, that's when the real story begins. Not the one the world saw, but the one that lived in silence. In love. In loss. And in the words that never made it past record. Until now.